Good morning, YouTube. Today I want to tell you all about why owning a Corvette C7 was probably the most annoying car ownership experience that I've had.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
If you're new to the channel, my name is Dan. This is my garage, and this channel is all about the supercar ownership experience, buying and selling them, maintaining them, DIY work on them, and also I can help you with buying and selling a supercar or any sort of questions you might have about supercars. So if you are interested in hiring my services, go to normalguysupercar.com and check out some of my consultation services. I can help you out and make sure that you have a good experience with the supercar. But on today's topic, we're going to talk about the Corvette C7. So yes, I had my Corvette C7 for a little over a year and a half.
Release the clutch, give it gas, noise, muscle, America!
And initially I had bought it for Turo, so I had rented it out. It's made only $6,675, and basically it's costing me about $700 a month. But I can tell you that the actual ownership experience of that car was kind of disappointing, and it's not to say that the car itself isn't a good car. I want to be clear about that. The Corvette is actually a really good car, and the C7 I think is probably one of the best deals you can get as far as dollar per fun. It's a really affordable car and you can do a lot with them, plus they're really low on maintenance and they're kind of bulletproof, so all those things make them really good choices. But I can tell you that from the experience I've had of owning lots of different cars, multiple Ferraris, lots of Mustangs, classic muscle cars, and I can tell you that the Corvette experience was just kind of disappointing and frustrating, and here's some of the reasons why. And of course, yes, we have the shop dog Mo, who is already eating what looks like a stick. Alright, well, you enjoy that stick. You be good. You sit here and chew and stuff. Okay, yes, you good boy. All right, yes, hold down that floor. Good job, Mom. So right off the bat, one of the things that kind of is annoying about buying a Corvette C7 is that they are super common. Now you'd think, oh, it's probably not going to be as common as, let's say, Mustangs or Camaros and stuff, but at least in Austin, I don't know about where you live, but in Austin, they are everywhere. Everyone has one, and you see them all the time. So it's kind of unfortunate because it's really quite a cool car, but it loses some of that uniqueness. You just don't feel as special when you drive around, and every time you drive it, you see other Corvettes. And frankly, every time I drive any of these cars, I see Corvettes. They're everywhere. And you know, that's for a good reason, because it's a really good car. Another thing that's really annoying about the Corvette owners, and this isn't all Corvette owners, like I'm making some generalizations here, okay, I get it. You know, like, I know right now, like, a bunch of Corvette owners are like, thumbs down, or actually more likely, they didn't even, like, watch this video, they just, he talked negative about the Corvette, thumbs down, So go read the comments and, yeah, look at the love I'm getting from the Corvette owners right now. It's entertaining, trust me. Go do that. But like I was saying, so one thing that kind of is annoying about Corvette owners is they feel like the car, like Corvettes are like the greatest thing since sliced bread. There are a lot of them who just can't accept that they are possibly better cars. And every time they talk about the Corvette, it's always compared to things like Ferraris and how it's cheaper than a Ferrari, but it's just as good. And I can tell you, it's not. It's like definitively not as good a car. It is far cheaper and more affordable, which is awesome. That itself is a great thing. But to say it's a better car is just simply not true. All right, you still on the hunt for stuff? Oh, now you're tired. Okay, yes, I'm tired, Bassett. So I think what a lot of the Corvette owners mean to say is it's a better performing car. Yes, you can have Corvettes that outperform Ferraris and supercars, frankly, pretty easily nowadays. I mean, that's not like it's a big deal, especially if you're driving an older supercar. That in itself is actually a true statement, but to say it's better, it's totally your opinion. There are certain things about owning these Ferraris that you just can't replicate with the Corvettes. The materials that they use are just far superior, the comfort and things like that. A great example to me is that with the Corvette, you kind of feel like you're in a cockpit and it's kind of claustrophobic. I don't really like that. I don't like that design. I think it's really actually kind of annoying. In fact, actually, this is one of the complaints about the C8. I think the C8 screwed up badly on the way to design the cockpit, not because of the material choice and stuff, which again, they could have chosen some better materials, I think, but they made it too much of like an airplane cockpit. Like when you're in the new C8, it surrounds you entirely. That means you're kind of losing one of the beautiful things about having a mid-engine car, which is that they have a ton of space. So if we look in this Ferrari, you can see there's no tunnel, right? So you feel like this is a much more spacious, much more open car than it actually is. So the Corvette, you have this big centerpiece dividing the two seats. And I know that's kind of part of Corvette's history. It comes from like the jet era when they first made them in the 50s. So, hey, what are you doing? No, hey, Mo, get out. What are, that is not cool. You're gonna put all sorts of hair in there. No, all right, back up you. Back up. Yeah, that's right. None of that. Jeez. So I get that the Corvette designers want to kind of preserve some of that heritage of the car's history and stuff like that. You're already kind of eliminating some of that history by going to a mid-engine V8, so why continue on with the weird cockpit design when you could go to something more like this and have a very open design that makes it feel much less claustrophobic and just more pleasure to drive. But anyway, we're getting off subject here. That's the C8, not the C7. I personally just felt like the Corvette community had a lot of these people who rah Corvette and everything else is crap. I've had Mustangs and I felt like Mustang owners don't do that. I've had muscle cars and the muscle cars don't do that. They always poke each other. Like if you're in any car group, you're gonna tease each other. As a Ferrari owner, I have to tease Lamborghini and McLaren owners. Doesn't mean I actually don't like those cars. I mean, I don't. It doesn't mean I really don't. Okay, I don't. But still, you gotta tease each other. Like that's required. Like so, if you own a Mustang, you have to tease Camaro owners. If you own a Corvette, I don't know if there's really an equivalent, and so that's the problem. I guess maybe a Dodge Viper, but there's not enough Vipers around, and you never really run into Viper owners. So what happens because of that is they compare them to supercars. So always like my Corvette's just as good as a Ferrari, or just as good as a Lamborghini or a McLaren. No, it isn't. And I think the problem is a lot of these Corvette owners have either never driven the supercar or never sat in one, most likely never owned one. And I can tell you that it's just a totally different experience. People are making these assumptions without ever driven them. So it's kind of like right now, people are asking me what my opinions are of the C8. I'm not gonna tell you my opinions on the C8 at this point because I haven't driven it. I can tell you what I think of the cockpit design. I don't like that. I can tell you about the looks, those sorts of things that I can see. I've seen the car in person, I've seen what it looks like. You know, I actually think it looks really good. I don't like the back end of it, but I think the rest of it they did a pretty good job on. I'm not gonna sit there and tell you what I think of how it drives and stuff. I can't tell you conclusively, oh, it's a good car or it's not, because I haven't driven it. So for someone to say my Corvette's better than your ex supercar, they're purely doing it on paper 99% of the time. Not that they've actually driven one of these. You can't be so hardline about things. I personally like my Corvette more than a supercar. Okay, that's a valid statement. That's your opinion. You're expressing it as an opinion. Valid. Good. All right, so we have one dead dog. Oh, you woke up. Hi. Yeah, you're a good boy, Mo. You're a good boy. So all that being said, there's one thing that sticks out that is by far the single most annoying part of the entire Corvette ownership experience, and that was trying to sell the car. Like I said, I've owned a lot of cars, a lot of different sports cars, a lot of different muscle cars, supercars, everything. And let me tell you, selling the Corvette was the worst experience. People were terrible. It was so horrible. Every single person that called about that car was just kicking out low balls. And the thing is, there's so many Corvettes on the market that as a buyer, if you kick out low balls over the place, eventually someone's gonna take you up on it. So it's actually a reasonably good strategy because there's just too many cars. So I had listed the car below Blue Book just because I was motivated to sell it. I didn't want to sell it at like a complete, I didn't want to give away the car. So I was open to negotiation, but man, and I kept adjusting it as the market kind of came down because the C8 crushed the C7 values, and then COVID happened and the values just plummeted. Man, people were constantly offering like $24,000. It only had 44,000 miles on it, and it was a 2015. I was like, you gotta be crazy. Like, who's gonna take this offer? I could trade it in for substantially more than that. So that would be my advice. If you're selling a Corvette, just trade it in and accept that you're gonna get your ass kicked on it, but at least it's hassle-free. Because man, all these people calling with these lowball offers were so annoying. And then, this is what makes it really hilarious. I had 4 people commit to buying the car at reasonable prices. 4 people had their financing fall through. They could not get financed on this car. And I think the highest of those was $34,000. So I had 4 people that could not actually afford a $34,000 car. Look, I'm not saying that like that's a judgment call on anyone. I'm just saying, like, you mean to tell me that there's 4 people out there that didn't even know their own finances enough that they couldn't get approved for the loans? Man, like, yeah, I just felt like, what in the world, like, what weird world am I living in where people are making horrible offers, and then once they actually finally make a deal, they can't even afford the deal. First thing you do when you're gonna go buy a car is get your financial ducks in order. Like, know what you're gonna be able to buy before you make offers. Don't go making offers without any idea that, oh, I know the bank's totally approved me, even though they haven't. That by far was the worst part of Corvette ownership experience. Just the selling the car was so supremely frustrating. I don't wish that upon any of you. And hilariously, I talked to my buddy who's a dealer, and he said it's the same with all Corvettes. Everyone just lowballs like crazy. Something about Corvette buyers, man, they're just the worst. Just to be clear, I actually really enjoyed that car. I thought it was a really good car. It's an amazing car. The experience of it kind of soured me on Corvette ownership. People keep asking me, will I ever own a C8? I'm gonna go with probably not. Maybe in 5 years when you can pick them up for like 25, 30 grand, or maybe I'll just do like everyone else and make a whole bunch of lowball offers and maybe someone will take me up on it. Seems like a reasonable strategy. Mark my words, you give it another year, there's gonna be so many of those things on the road. They're no longer gonna be special. It's gonna be just like the C7, right? When you see one, you're gonna be like, oh, it's another Corvette. That's the downside of the Corvette. They're a victim of their own success. Feel free to complain below, hit the thumbs down. I know you guys are already doing that, especially if you own a Corvette, especially if you didn't watch this video. You guys are amazing, at least those of you that are appreciative of this video and giving me the thumbs up. I do appreciate that. We've got a lot of car stuff coming your way, so you guys are gonna wanna stay tuned. It's gonna be sweet.